Maybe I'll listen to you first. Keep going on the music. So, want some tips? Yeah? Yeah? Yeah, it's all about making the music the best it possibly can be, right? So, yeah. Let's give you some ideas. Sound good? I could tell you about 40 different things you're doing right. But I'll kind of skip to the tips if that's all right, okay? Because it's fantastic. So, on the piano, we've got the strings, right? And we've got the metal frame or the sound, the cast iron soundboard stuff in there. It's all tight and just perfect. Have you ever been in a room where you notice one note kind of resonated more than the others? Like in between doors in a church or something, or in a hall in a building, or in a bathroom that bounces off the wall. Yeah, so there's the way the sound travels. The resonance is something we always want to listen for. And I kind of think of pianos as having a sweet spot with how loud, where the perfect sound is. It kind of gets harsh right in there, right? And Can you play Mary Had a Little Lamb in the sweet spot? If that were this piano were a singer, where would it be singing at? Yeah, I would probably say, you want to hear it nice and confident. Yeah, it kind of has that confident spot. Too much, right? So whenever you sit down at a piano, find that confident spot as soon as you can, especially with the melody. So with the melody here, that's how loud we want that melody to be. Now it's a soft song, so how are we going to get the soft and that sweet spot? That's the question. I recommend taking some scissors and just cutting your hand right here down the middle, and then you got 3 hands. I kind of think of it that way, actually. When I play this, I might start, okay, let's get the soft, right? And I'm going a little fast. So there's the soft, and then I say, okay, I'm not going to let any of those notes that aren't the melody be any louder than that. But the melody, I'm going to start leaning my hand into a little bit so I can get that. Sweet spot. Yeah. Do you want to try the beginning again? You can do one hand or two. Let's see what you can do. And the feeling of how you're playing is going to be different. You're going to start to think, okay, my hands are all level here, but when you start voicing those top notes, you're going to feel this leaning there. In fact, you know how guys always think girls like lots of muscles, right? After college, guess what muscle grew the biggest for me? This one right here, on the side of my hand. I'm like, check out that one. No. So, yeah, kind of lean that way. See what you can do with that sweet spot in that melody. It's coming out. I can hear it more now. On those soft notes, you've got the soft notes. Listen to how nice he's doing those. Kids that come and pound on the piano every day. Some of us have nicknamed the piano the pound for these other kids. Nice. Now, I want you to do what you just did, but about 10 times more. Exaggerate everything you just did on the melody side 10 times. It's hard because you have to keep the soft going. See if you can get it even stronger on those melodies, okay? Even if you have to sit and practice this for a second, or 2 notes and get one really soft and one strong. It kind of throws you off a little bit at first. Some of the other notes, you know? Think only about what the audience is hearing. If they're hearing it for the first time, they're only hearing that top note, and they're really focusing in on that, so that's what you have to present. The rest of it's just kind of feeling. Good. Let's do it one more time that much, and let's do it so much that it's the wrong way. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'll get to past that sweet spot where it's annoyingly loud. Okay, yeah. And once you go from there, if you can do that, you can back up really easy. and it changes how musical it is right now, right? So you have to get back to practicing and then be like, okay, how can I make this, use that idea to make it still musical? Doing that makes us want to speed up a little bit sometimes. Makes us want to, it throws off what we're used to doing. So you might have to go back and practice it a little differently and teach your hands again what to do. You spend a lot of time practicing, I imagine already. How much time are you putting in? Yeah, just a lot here and there. Whenever you can, you go find a piano.
Yeah.
Do you have a nice piano to practice on now?
Yeah. It's an electric piano, so it's not like
A digital, yeah. I did a lot of my college practice on digitals too, so I don't mind them at all. Yeah. The other thing you'll want to do is find lots of pianos to play on, so you get used to playing on different ones. The one in the band room there, it's got a harder touch, and this one's got kind of a light touch. I like this one for songs like this though, because you can really just kind of ease through it and light touch everything, and it'll sound out pretty good. Essex is in the Steinway family. It's the cheaper of the Steinway family. It goes Essex, then kind of Boston, and then Steinway. That's good. So let's do that beginning one more time, and just let's go back to your original speed and see if you can still do the voicing while you do that, okay? Ready, and go. Good. On how he wrote this. Like he's got these staccatos in there, right? It's like, how are we playing staccatos and making it smooth, right? I think you're doing a really good job of just separating those. Eventually in the song, unless we're using the sostenuto pedal, that middle, do you know what that middle pedal does?
Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah, you've got those other notes. I never had one of those to practice on, so I skipped that when I learned this piece, and I just stuck with the one on the right, the damper pedal. But without something like that, some of these things aren't possible to do that separation. So sometimes you have to say, okay, what were they actually thinking? So you have to think about his hands and the size of his hands. Some composers use those articulation marks for different reasons. Like these tenuto marks, sometimes in piano, I think of them as more of an emphasis kind of thing. They help me remember which notes I'm supposed to do that voicing on that we talked about. Let's see, where did we end? Right over here. Look at this, we've got pianissimo and we got forte here. So where did the melody go right around here? Is it in the soprano or the outside voices, the inside voices, or down in the bass? What would you say?
Probably at the top.
Do you know what I hear? When I play this, I hear this note right here, up to the F sharp there. Da, 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 da. Let's try. Let's try and get it to sound connected and voiced, Yeah, we're so used to doing this, right? Dot, dot, dot. But let's make it more of a connected line. Those tenuto marks, those dashes. More connected melody there. Yeah. Okay, let's start together right on the piano. they pick the inside, but sometimes they jump in and out, so you have to know which ones you want to pick. Right there, I think inside. Oh, and there it is on top again. Wait, I'm not sure right there, but it's going inside, and then back outside. This chord that we just had because it had a lot of notes. Let's make all the notes forte. I got big hands. Look how big I can reach. That's one of the things I got that you don't got. You can't grow big hands without waiting, but that's too much, right? If I played every note, excuse me, the same volume, it's going to sound in your face. So we want to, I would probably say mezzo forte, and the real forte on that is that F sharp there. Yeah. And you can roll it, that's fine. Keep the pedal down. And then lean that hand. I lean my hand kind of this way. That can't go completely out. I can pivot kind of up and out a little bit to get that lean. Let's go back and do the pianissimo again, and let's see if we can get those. Yeah, let's hear those voices. Yeah, it's hard to start in the middle, so. Make sure the bottom notes don't ever disappear. And I'm a band teacher too, and do you know what I teach them in the band? I teach them that the tuba is the most important note all the time. If your sound doesn't disappear inside the tuba sound, it doesn't work. It's kind of weird. In piano we teach bring out the top notes because that's the melody, that's where the melody's at. But everything under the melody kind of fits in this sound pyramid where the bass has to be strongest up to the soprano softer. And that's that structure under the melody. And the band kids, when they're always playing like this, solo, all the time. But I say, no, play with the bass strongest. And then all of a sudden, you put a melody on top of that, and you've got some really nice balance and blend there. So, you getting all this? When I was 11, I would have been like, what are you talking about, dude? We talk about this stuff with college kids. So
yeah, he's there already.
Yeah, it's awesome. You tell me when. You just tell me to shut up. You got any other questions on that? Should we do a little bit? Should we do another section?
Yeah.
Should we do some more? Nice job. Really nice job. How's your memory?
I think it's pretty.
Like when I went to lessons, I'm not talking about. Of course, your musical memory is great. How's your memory of what your teacher tells you after you go home? Because me, it was always, what did he talk to me about? I'll just practice the way I've been practicing, So my rule is always try and write down as much as you can. But since your teacher's right here filming us, you've got that, and he'll review it with you. But yeah, if you get a chance in your lessons, make sure you come with that pencil, and if he says something, go to the music, mark it after you've tried it before, and don't let him go on until you've marked it, and you can say, okay. One of my favorite musical markings is this one. It means remember to do what we talked about right there. And you just scribble. But you don't have to do that. You can be better than me and actually write something. Okay, so same thing here. We can't really do this. We can't do that. Well, we could. When I played it, we've got these pedal markings here, right? That makes it almost sound legato, right? We got those notes we're trying to voice there. I wouldn't worry so much about this anymore, right? Because the pedal's down, right? But you know what I would do? One of the best habits you can do is to still do it as if. One of the best motions in piano is this motion, because do you know what it does? There's these two bones that cross over here, and it's you know, and we're most relaxed, like when we walk, those two bones, they're uncrossed here, and they're crossed here. Anyway, that's just, doesn't help you play any better, but you know about the muscles and the bones. So, and when we do this, it's like relaxing. Oh, tension, relaxing. And I came to my teacher one day in high school, I said, my forearms hurt. They hurt. And he said, are you doing anything like this? I said, no, I'm not. He's like, you can do that all the time in piano. Get your hands relaxed, that outward motion. Yeah? He even had me practice scales like this sometimes. This side-to-side scale thing, just so I could get used to this kind of turn. And I didn't listen very good, but yeah, it helps you get used to turning if you want to do some things like that with your scales. But this could be a good spot to practice that. And it helps us put weight into our arm this way, right? Yeah, go ahead and play it and see if you can ring those out. And since it's new concept to you, make it even louder than you think it should be. Maybe not faster, but louder. Switch to those inner notes, right? Any staccatos on those? No staccatos. They disappeared. So I would do those like a singer instead of the dit. Right, yeah. So we'll make those, we'll just draw an extra slur there. But yeah, don't switch the other ones. These ones are still smooth on top. Or no, wait, no, you're right. The pedal's still down though. The pedal's holding this bass note. If we lose the bass, we've lost, right? The bass is kind of supporting everything up like your foundation that you're standing on. If it disappears, but it doesn't make as much sense for the music to fit in. So yeah, don't worry too much about getting the staccato sound. Just voice that inner voice. And sometimes when you practice it, some of these notes disappear, and that's okay because you got the most important part. As you practice, you'll be able to fit it in nice. And you're doing a pedal on each one of these, right? Mm-hmm. Nice. Yeah, let's keep going. A, D, F sharp, and C. How did you reach all those? Yeah. Oh, he's brilliant. No one ever figures that out, you know?
He comes up with that on his own.
Like, I had to have someone that made lots of money tell me that. I could use my left hand for that note. I usually mark it like this if I'm doing that. Yeah. But yeah, so smart of you to do that. Nice. So I thought I could teach you that, but you did it already.
Yeah, usually one step ahead of me, too.
Yeah. And there's some really nice colors, right? Do you know what we call a 3-note chord?
A triad?
Triad, right? Do you know what we call a 4-note chord?
No, I don't think so.
We call them a 7th chord, right? 7th chords are wonderful. They're wonderful for jazz. They're wonderful for music that's a little bit past the classical period. You know, Beethoven and Mozart, those guys are all classical and Haydn. And then you get Chopin and Liszt, and then and some of these more romantic kind of composers. They love playing around with the colors. Mozart would be like G, C, C, G, C, G, C, G, C. You know, it's like we play around with those 2 chords forever, but these new guys are like, okay, new chord, new chord, new chord. And if you ever play music like this, you'll know, okay, or you hear a song and say, oh, that's going to fit in the romantic time period. Not because it's all kissy and lovey, but because they love those colorful sounds and stuff. So if you ever, we call that harmonic rhythm, how fast the harmonies and the rhythm change. So and that's something that you can tie to your history as you learn your pieces too. So even history is written right in those notes right there. It's really cool. You can almost see Ravel's hands playing this piece, you know? You can see so much of the past just wrecked with how they wrote it, and maybe, yeah, the way his hands worked and stuff. Yeah, it's really cool what you can kind of discover. Just kind of like when they chop the tree down and they look at all those little rings and layers. It's kind of like that in a lot of ways. So, even back to these colors though, make sure with 7th chords, when you get nice 7th chords, you want to hear every tone if you can. So let's play through those again and see if we can hear every note still. We're still voicing, but we want all those colors to blend in a little bit of a pedal too. Yeah, see, he found the one that was missing right off. Yeah, I think that's the beauty in those spots, just that mix of all those colors right there, yeah. And then all of a sudden, look what he's doing. So I think it's an inner note. Are you getting the C here? Oh no, you're doing an E flat. Go to E natural here. As the melody is. Do, re, mi. Yeah, so no E flats. No E flats on this. Yeah. Yeah, what you were doing is actually really smart. With those intervals, those minor thirds, you'd almost anticipate what we call a fully diminished chord with an E flat. But that half diminished chord, or let's see, that minor, yeah, half diminished. That's not diminished. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, fully diminished, that half diminished chord is less common. So your hand likes to do the other one, but yeah, use those E naturals. Now let's play it even bigger. We got a forte, so we can't do the pounding, but we want it to come across really strong. So lots of voicing, lots of weight. Biggest secrets ever now, okay? So I want you to use this pencil to lift up my hand, okay? You grab the pencil, and I want you to feel how, just lift it up. I'm gonna kind of just, I want you to see how heavy my arm is, how much Thanksgiving dinner I ate. Okay, what would you say? A few pounds there, right?
Yeah.
Now, if I put my whole arm out, grab onto it, because it's gonna fall down. How heavy is my arm now? Does it feel like I'm pushing on you?
Yeah.
I'm not pushing at all. Why is it so heavy? Because I've got the whole weight of my arm here. When I was sitting closer, you were only feeling this much, right? So instead of using our muscles to do this, right here, guess what we can do? We can play relaxed, and our whole arm weight will go right into those keys if we keep our fingers curved, we can get those big chords. And it's pretty cool. A small little kid like you can really power into the piano and look relaxed.
We were talking about this the other day, about sitting a little further back so we could get more arm in front of him.
So it's kind of funny. If we're really close to the piano, guess what everyone sees from the side?
Yeah.
This position looks pretty funny, right? And then right here, it's okay, it's kind of square. But if we get that elbow out in front of us and we're sitting there, let's scoot that back even more. I know your teacher is a stickler in some of the styles he teaches on this stuff too. He could probably tell you even more than me about it. With all the Suzuki background he's got, it's amazing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Keep that pedal down, heavy foot. Yeah. Good. Now, in your head, are you going to think up, or are you going to think down, down? What do you think would be better as a thought?
Think down.
Probably down. You come up still, but when you play, you think down. And I like that you're doing the quick pedals. You're not doing like a lot of kids, up, down, slow up, downs. Whether it was you or your teacher that taught you that was the right thing. Get the ball of the foot there, not just the toes, but a little bit of the foot past the toes. You can do those quick pedals. Those are nice for those chord changes. And that, when you get that heavy feeling right there, it's so nice because you've just heard this. Right? So all of a sudden, you get to feel that nicely. And that's what's really nice about it. We're human, right? We're used to doing what we've been doing, right? We get into our comfort zone, we call it. And that's what I went to this cool leadership conference last year. And we talked a lot about the comfort zone and things like that. And in the audience, he said, okay, all you high schoolers, I want you to reach as high as you can. Okay? And do you know what they did? They stayed in their chairs and they went like this. And he said, a true leader, what are they going to do? Are they going to stay in their chairs?
No, they stand up.
He asked them again. He had them do it, and guess what they all did? They went like this. And then he said, no. You've got to build a stack of chairs as high as you can. And climb as high. If I ask you, so he's talking about leadership rather than, but it kind of works the same way with music a little bit. So to get contrast, we have to get out of the comfort zone. And to get those contrasts. So beware of where your body wants you to go just because you're comfortable. That's what we're talking about with that contrast and stuff. We better play a little more though. Let's get past that. You want to go to page 3? Make sure none of these bass notes disappear, right? More of that. I'm playing too loud. This piano's harder to do than this. Yeah, I'd have to practice again, but to get that right voicing, that's probably about where I put it. Have to be relaxed with this hand, don't you, to get those? imagine the string wrist thing? This is a good spot to imagine the wrist kind of on a string. So get it relaxed, across and up, cross and up. Otherwise, you do like nervous kids do, and you're like, oh, and all the tension's back in your hands. So pull that string off. I'm watching my own hand. I should be watching yours. You know, most kids, it takes them about a week of practice to be able to come back and do that. You're getting these things right from the get-go. That's awesome. That's awesome. And yeah, it's so cool. You kind of remind me of this famous piano player I played a really hard Liszt piece for once. She was younger than me, and she was telling me how to do it right. And she was this internationally famous piano player, won some competitions. But she gave me a hard time if I didn't do what she asked later in the page, and I'd asked it earlier. She was all over me. You wouldn't be scared of her, because you're getting it right off the bat. That's cool. All right, where are we at? Oh yeah, let's start right, maybe here. Let's start on these chords. How much time are you guys wanting to do? I can stay as long as you want.
Yeah, I was thinking 1 hour basically, so.
Yeah, we're getting there, yeah. I don't want to wear him out either. He's 11. Good. Now, I was talking to your dad. When you played this, did everyone hear this? Dee, like a singer just. Yeah, I like that note. Let's see. I gotta look at it. I play with my pinky. You play with your pinky? Yeah. Do you think this one is a stronger note because it's a bass note, or do you think it'd be soft? I'd probably say soft. So we can hear that singing out slowly. Yeah, keep going, yeah. Yeah, that's an important note there, yeah. Okay, here's the inner notes coming up. Yeah, keep going. Get these inner notes coming up. Now guess what? My hand is big enough to do all those at once. That's a tenth. I can reach it, but if you wanted to, you could roll it. Or you can do it that way. That works. Another way would be to do the roll, and maybe take the G sharp in the left hand. Yeah, they're kind of fat chords, aren't they? So that's an arm weight section right there. Let's do the fortissimo spot right there. Yeah. Let's hear that arm weight in there. Tons of pedal. Yeah. Let everything soak together. Yeah. Yeah, and you can do it the way you've been doing it. That's fine. And I wouldn't be in a rush, right? I don't know my French very well. Do you know your French very well? Large? It looks like Largo almost to me, but I kind of think of a take your time, because anything in music that broadens out, it's a take. using the sostenido pedal there, you could. That's a spot you could use that to let those bass notes echo. You could try it there. See? You could do that. And then it's like, which foot? My shoes are too big to switch around. I like to just stay here and give each of these a pedal if I don't have that sostenido pedal. Yeah. Okay, let's go into this next section. Yeah. You're good, yeah. I know you've been working on the Chopin too. My other favorite composer. So this is good. You know what I liked about it? You were doing there was a lot of movement in here. It was nice. You were moving it forward. This is all kind of processional, like you're marching, right? Like a slow, steady thing. Here is a nice spot where you can add some of those things. Motion and a little bit more rubato in that section is a nice thing like you were doing. I like how you're doing your triplets here and the versus the eighth notes. I can hear the difference there. That's great. Don't lose any of the blend of the colors through this stuff. You don't want it to kind of get choppy anymore, right? Keep the smoothness. Yeah, that's right. Nice. Let's go to the next page before you have to go. See how that eighth note is after the triplet? Mm-hmm. That doesn't make sense. It should be between those notes, right? So if you figured that out, good for you, because normally everything's lined up vertically in the music as it should be, but something here went a little skewy with the printing. So you figured that out, that's good. And then, yeah, keep going right after that. Out of these two notes right here, which one do you feel a pulse on more, the first or the second? Is it dee-da-dee-da, or is it dee-da-dee-da? When I first played it as a student, I thought it was the second one where the high note got the pulse, but because it's on a beat, are you aware of what beat that is in the measure? That's one thing you can study if you're not sure how to shape your voices. You can say, is it on a beat or is it on an off beat? So we got count 1 here, those 2 eighth notes, then we got those 2 eighth notes here, so we got count 3 there. And so that gives you a little clue into dee-da-dee-da, right? So you can give a little bit more of those weight on those beat pulses in this stuff where it's kind of like, okay, where are we going with this? And the rhythm really helps you be creative if you know where all the beats are at. So, yeah, here's a little bit dee-da-dee, dee-da-dee. So if you can keep track of the beat while you're playing, you're a better man than most. Nice. This is good. See that marcato? That's another clue. We really want to voice a ton. Da-da-da, here to forte. Can you show me how to get to a forte there? That's hard to play heavy. Double the arm weight and all that, yeah. Find that sweet sound on the piano. Good, almost got it. I think we gotta give it a little bit more. I was thinking, since there's a crescendo. Yeah, this won't pulse as much as that one will. Let's get the heaviest one, the last one. That triplet's hard to get. Triple. And then to do that with chords, you might want to even practice it with your pinky. To get that triplet feel is going to be a challenge. Yeah. And then we can slow it down. Do you have an older sister? I have an older sister. And you know what we used to do to her when I was 11? We'd hide behind the front door, and when she came in, we'd poke her in the sides. And she'd go from this to ah! You know? And that's kind of what you're doing here. It's like, okay, we're getting bigger. Some power in that, and don't be afraid to make that a nice confidence spot. Yeah, I think you hit mezzo forte. Can you hit forte or fortissimo? Yeah, we're at forte. We've got one more level to go to hit fortissimo. Now what's the danger in that, right? That we voice them all powerful, right? So we have to hit it, and we have to do the voicing, right? The sweet spot we talked about being here, right? It changed when everything else was loud. It's when everything else is loud, that sweet spot changed a little bit. Yeah. Nice. And you're gonna do great at just getting that back into a nice piano. I gotta see how you start the last page at least before we're done. Nice, very nice. Go ahead and stop there. You play it that way, people are going to love it still. But if you take everything we kind of learned today about the arm weight, the relaxed hands, see these notes right here? I want these to be so soft that you can hear them, and if you were to go any softer, they would just disappear. Because that will let this be nice and gentle. And hear a clarinet or an oboe just sing a note over the whole band, super quiet. That's what it is. The melody is back to super important. No need to rush. Nice Now when your hands are bigger, here's what I want you to do. As much as you can, instead of playing like this, I want it to be connected as if, remember the hands and cutting the hands with the scissors? This would be the perfect part to have a third hand in the middle and one there. So, hold on to that and lean into it as much as you can, even while it's it back down. Show me how the last two measures and we'll be done. Yeah, you really can't stay on these, but you want to stay on them as long as you can if you ever get a chance in music. It's too bad we can't do that though, because it's yeah, it's just not possible, but it's an idea for other songs. Okay. Yeah, let's do those last two measures right there. Get really good and I'll pay you for piano lessons one day. How's that sound?
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah. So yeah, since it's coming pretty easy to do all this stuff, yeah, keep some balance in your life too, because there's a point where you start practicing 4 hours a day, 5 hours a day. The most I ever did in college wasn't for a very extended period of time. It was about 7, just to get pieces. But at some point, yeah, you lose balance, and so do some piano, do something physical every day, do something academic, and keep that balance, and that piano will be a whole lifelong habit for you and a joy for you. So. Cool. I am thrilled that you came and played for me. It was a real treat. I can't think of a much better way to spend a Saturday morning than with someone as musical as you, and someone that likes it, and someone that's respectful. That's 6th grade, right?
Oh,
Yeah, so I taught 6th and 7th graders at Fossil Ridge, not too far from your school, for 4 years. And we spent most of our days on the simplest of tasks, you know? So for how to play a quarter note, how to play an 8th note. So you understand this stuff. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Well, thank you for taking your time, Jake. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
I hope that helped, and you don't have to believe anything I said, okay? But you know, everyone gives you some ideas, and if you can get a few from anyone, that's great. Okay. This is what I look like without